It's that time of year again, the leaves are falling, the thermostat is now on heat, and I find myself always trying to curl up, get cozy, and that can only mean one thing. It's blanket coat season. You know what? I love you guys. I shared on my Instagram that I thrifted a new blanket, and immediately I was asked if we're getting another blanket coat, and the answer is of course we are. We've established a bit of an annual tradition here, it seems, turning blankets into coats and jackets. And when I saw this one with the diamond quilting patterns, these beautiful flowers, the super, what is this called again? Butterscotch yellow? Buttercup. I really could not say no. So what I'm really hoping this time actually is that there's enough here for me and a mini jacket for Marla. We moved things around here to paint the walls yesterday, and it's a special paint. I have to wait at least a week for it to fully cure before I put the top coat on. So I'm just trying to be a good girl and be patient. Where is my inspo? I tried finding inspo that would have a quilted texture, and this coat really caught my eye. It's by C, it's called the Paloma coat. It is sold out, I don't think it's around anymore, but I really like a few things about it. All my previous blanket coats have had varying silhouettes, but I've never attempted this more trench coat shacket type of style. To get me to the silhouette, I found a starting point, which is from my Letter Low kit. This, but slightly longer in a wool, is like textbook shacket. So I followed the instructions in my Letter Low drafting kit. If you guys don't know about this kit, check the description because I'll put a link explaining. But there are a few modifications to get to this C jacket. The bottom, I'm gonna cut it to be knee length. The C jacket has these little puffy sleeves that I really like, whereas these sleeves are like relatively straightish. Definitely gonna skip these pockets. That will be very unnecessary bulk. And if there's material left over, I will add this little waist tie and make a mini jacket for Marla. Today we get to do a few new things, new or like I haven't done them in a really long time, which is a little back yoke, a flip down collar, For the sleeves, I feel like I'm going for a circumference of about 60 centimeters at the elbow. Currently, it's more like 36 centimeters at the elbow, so right here, where I was supposed to gather the fabric, I'm gonna try to add some slash and spread so I can massage it to 60. Okay, I really hope there's room for two of these. Tried to do a few smart things and I really hope they pay off. This is going to be a lot of work. The back piece with a little extra to get to the knees cut on a fold so it's symmetrical, and I added a little extra on the sides just for a little volume. Same with the front two pieces with a little extra length, but I purposefully cut along the existing edge of the blanket so I won't have to finish this button placket. Hey! Work smarter, not harder. I also tried to cut it so that the quilting pattern aligned and didn't get all mismatched. I've got two sleeves in here. I need to cut this little slit onto the fabric, which is going to become the opening where you cuff the little sleeve. So speaking of cuffs, the paper pattern is the recommended size, but I feel like the inspo I'm going with had a slightly longer cuff. Nice design is all about getting the proportions right. That's actually what's really stressful. So I gave myself a little extra to work with. Oh, the top half of the back has a yoke, another piece that's cut on the fold so it's symmetrical. And lastly, we have two collar pieces also cut on the fold to be symmetrical around the neck. I tried to do another work smarter, not harder with the collar, utilizing the natural edge of the blanket. And then this is the standing part of the collar. I have never sewn such a thing before. I guess I'll start where I always do. First step of making a top really is just making a vest. If any of you have not yet tried online thrifting, you guys need to check out Thredup. I've worked with them so many times in the past and they are back sponsoring this video. Thredup is an online store that makes it super easy to find brands you love, all up to 90% off of estimated retail price. Their selection online is huge. I'm gonna show you guys some of the things I got in my recent haul, and I'm gonna give you some of my tips because I feel like I've found some pretty good gems. My very first tip, which made it super easy to find this skirt, is to go into your settings and update your preferred sizes. If you feel like you're between sizes like me, just click the whole whole range that you feel like relates to you. But this makes it so that wherever you go on Thredup, you will only see items that match your preferred sizes, so you don't get distracted by stuff that just won't fit you. Personally, I love thrifting things that are difficult to sew, such as the accordion pleat on this skirt, because if you want to do accordion pleats in your own fabric, that's a whole customization order. This Vince skirt is an estimated retail price of $3.95, but on Thredup, $42.99. My next tip is to use this search for trends that you're interested in, such as faux leather, which is really popular for fall and winter this year. Out of all the faux leather options, this little Millie puffer caught my eye. I find the crop length works really well with skirts or flared pants that I want to wear this season. Instead of the estimated retail price of $770, this was $123.99 on Thredup. Searching for plaid shorts got me these guys. I just love how plaid is such a cozy but also put together print. And my final tip, never forget the little accessories, little details that are going to make your life so much easier in the upcoming season. Now that Marla is in full-time daycare, I actually wanted a pair of mules so I could slip easily in and out of them when I'm doing drop-off. I also don't really have time to do my hair before I take her to daycare, so I got this really cute fuzzy little hat and just throw that on, head out the door. A little bit of a brim in case there's light rain or snow as well. Fuzzy, so it looks really cute for the winter time. And if you have a kid, where is it? You will probably enjoy browsing the Thredup kids section as much as I do. I got Marla this super cute little hat. She just looks so adorably put together when she wears it. What does it look like on me? Yeah, that's too small. And with that, make sure you click the link in the description and don't forget to use my code Wendy30 so you get 30% off your first order. Thank you so much, Thredup, for sponsoring this part of the video. I don't know if we've actually had a chance to talk about this yet, but I got a new sewing machine and it's a massive upgrade. I feel like I'm driving like a real nice sports car now. Basically, I'm now an official Bernina ambassador. This one is the B435. The nicest sewing machine I've ever owned. I also have a B335, which I would say is much more beginner friendly and in a more beginner appropriate price range. Right now I'm just working on building up my muscle memory of like, where's the reverse button? Where do I quickly navigate? I want to get to the point where I'm driving this thing like put in reverse, go forward, you know. Not me going for a car analogy when I don't really drive that much and definitely don't know how to drive stick. Actually, first I need to attach the yoke to the back. It's supposed to go right sides together, but see how the back is wider is because I'm supposed to put a little dart into the back and then attach it to the yoke. Here's the dart sewn in. When you open it up, a little pinch in the lower back, it'll make everything sit nice and flat at the top while giving you some freedom of movement under the shoulders. In the inspo, they have this stitched down in a rectangle, opening up this excess fabric to sit evenly. Let's make a rectangle. Nice and clean box. I did run a little bit off track, but I think it's okay. Are they the same length? Yes. I was gonna try a different type of seam so they wouldn't look ugly on the inside because I don't really want to line this jacket. It's gonna be a little fancy. If I get this right, I'll show you what I'm doing. What do we think? I tried to do a flat fell seam. It's a little shaky at some parts, but I made it through. And I'm so happy with it. I think I'm gonna do a combination of flat fell seams and French seams to give this a really clean finish. It's a little extra work, but I think it'll be worth it. Not bad for a first try. I know it's gonna get better. Okay, all that work to get the back done. Now I'm going to attach it to the front. I'm just sneaking in a little bit of sewing while Marla's napping. So I noticed the armpit is a little bit too tight. It makes sense because the pattern I'm going off of is made for a thinner material, but when you make a jacket, you want to be able to still fit all your big cozy sweaters underneath. And so things like armholes should not be tight. I've made that mistake in the past. So I'm gonna cut these. You could easily cut out another 2 inches, 5 centimeters. That's the easy part. Unfortunately, it does mean this armhole right here, probably too short. So I'm gonna have to like add a section. Through this, I realized I should just make it a rule in the future. We don't cut out sleeves until we try on the vest. rolls right off the tongue. Good news is, because we're going with a quilted material, if you start patchworking things together, you're just getting more quilty. I am really happy with my yoke though. This is gonna help me calculate how much fabric I need to add to my sleeve. So the old armpit in here, 17 centimeters. The new armpit out here, 28 centimeters. So that means I need to add 11 centimeters to my sleeve. Extra attached, doing a French seam. I can't express how happy I am that everything is running so much smoother because this machine is so much nicer. I feel like by now I would have at least broken 2 needles on my old machine. We have our vest, we have our sleeves. Let's put it together. Do you want to say hello? Marla, are you ready for bedtime? Are you still trying to do the key?
Key.
All right, I'm purposefully wearing a much baggier sweater today so that I can really test out these new armholes that I cut. Before I sew on both sleeves, I am gonna try it on with one sleeve. This is responsible. That slides on pretty easy. Obviously it still pinches a tiny bit, which is normal. Ooh, I'm pretty happy with this angle. This big balloon has a lot of fabric to be gathered up. And with the cuff, yeah, okay. I'm gonna sew on the other sleeve. Finished my pretty little French seams. Let's go downstairs. Oh, hi, Sagwa. Oh.
Okay.
Nice. Wow, I'm gonna be warm in this. Yes, ma'am. I purposefully made some choices when I was drafting these sleeves, and I think it is paying off. See how when I'm resting, more of it balloons at the back than in the front? That's because in the inspo, it looked like the balloon shape was more at the back. When I expanded the sleeve pattern into the bigger bell shape, I put most of the bulk into the back, and so that's how I got it to pay off here. Here's that filler that I put in. It's pretty subtle. We made a vest, we added arms. Now I can do collar or cuffs. Okay, this is uncharted territory. The collar is made up of 2 pieces. This one I think is standing, attaches to it, and will flip down. Oh, okay. But there's some complications. So one is that when this is flipped up, you will see this inner edge. I'm not gonna deal with that because the vast majority of times I'm wearing this flip down. I have no intentions to pop my collar, but I do have to finish these 2 edges in a nice way. And then the other problem is that this edge is going to be exposed. I should find a way to finish it nicely. I think what I should do is cut another one of these identically. I enjoy switching feet so much more on the Bernina machine. You can do it all with one hand. There's no screws involved. The fact that you can switch the feet so quickly and easily makes how you approach sewing totally different, because I used to like try to do everything before I switched feet. Now I can just kind of like switch on the fly, work on whatever I want to work on in the moment. Sorry, I needed to try to do the whole thing first myself, and clean! I'm so happy with this. I'll show you guys what I did. First up, the overlock foot. Fold in the seam allowance and trim this excess. This exposes a raw corner, which I'm going to hide away by first seam ripping here. See how this V is opened up now? I'm going to flip it so that the right sides of the V are touching. Bring back the basic presser foot. Straight stitch it closed. Flip it back. Dink! And the little raw edge is gone. I'm going to fold this edge down, give it a basting stitch. Swap in the blind hem foot. All that's left is to undo that one basting stitch. Clean. Okay, I'm gonna go get Marla. See you back here soon. Hey, sweetie. Marla, what's this?
Key. It's you.
I see you. I don't know what I'm doing and I've never done this before. I've sandwiched the collar between the, I should really know the names of these. Collar, shirt, anatomy, collar stand. I knew that. I've sandwiched the collar between my two identical collar stands. I'm gonna be sewing from here, around, straight stitch. Flippity flip, 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 flip. The letter low kit is crazy. I have not measured this, just followed their rules, and it's the same size. How cute. Since this is 2 layers and this is 1 layer, just like with the collar, I can encase this inside. I'm gonna pin these guys right sides together to get it started. Now, I'm a little scared to do this, but on this super messy side here, I'm just gonna tuck all of the collar stand away, pinned up the entire inner raw edge. All the pins fall exactly in the ditch. I'm going to attempt a stitch in the, ow! A stitch in the ditch. I only didn't catch in one spot. I can fix that. I can fix that. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I did that. This is the most successful attempt at a standing collar I could have possibly imagined. I'm really happy with how it makes it look. I feel so proper. It's not the best pairing that I'm wearing an oversized collared shirt with this, so you can't really get like the full effect, but wow. And it's looking pretty clean here on the inside. I'm so glad I was able to utilize the existing edge of the blanket. This is one whole step I would have had to do. This got me to that feeling. There's a point in every sewing project where you're like, will it ever end? The number of steps I have to take. And then you finally think you're like over the peak and you're about to like cruise your way to the finish. It's never like that. You never cruise to the finish. But you reach a point where you're like, the end is in sight. I do want to go buy nice buttons, and I think the button store is not open today. Everything but the buttons though, I think I can do today. It's time for cuffs. The real reason I'm wearing this today is because this is actually the style of cuff I'm trying to achieve, and so I thought I just might as well keep the inspo nearby. The plan is to attach this similar to how I did the collar stand. I'm gonna fold it right sides together, close off the 2 short ends with a straight stitch. Give these corners a snip to try to reduce some bulk. And now the challenge is I need to resize the sleeve so that it matches this cuff. In the inspo, it looks like there's no visible folds from the front, so I'm gonna have to put all of the folds to shrink down the sleeve. Right, yes, in the back. It looks like they've kind of aligned them to be roughly above the pinky area. Oh, and I have to finish this little opening on the sleeve that goes with the cuff. Yay! In a shirt like this, typically an extra piece of fabric is added in here. I believe it's called a placket, and it finishes off this raw edge in a nice clean way. However, I'm gonna cheat a little bit. It's my first time doing something like this, so I want to keep it really simple. Also, because I'm dealing with this quilted fabric, I ideally don't want to add extra material because I don't want it to become too bulky at this spot. I'm gonna overlock the edge. Now the raw edge is locked in with a neat little stitch so it won't fray, and then I think I'm just gonna fold it in, do a top stitch. Whoa, I don't feel like I really show you guys all the tripods and cameras that happen. I was trying to like maintain some level of movie magic, but yeah. I don't know if I would call this a hot tip, but I do think it's helpful to wear clothing somewhat in the family of what you're sewing that day. It just helps you get in the mindset, because I decided to take a little bit of inspo from this shirt. You see how right here in the opening, they have folded this over and done a secure stitch so that it hides the actual V where these 2 sides join. And the thing about this top stitch method is it leaves kind of an ugly situation here at this V. Let me show you. It's flipped under twice in here for a nice clean finish. But then this V, see, is just like, there's simply not enough fabric to turn it under like that. But if I take this side and cap it over this side, lock that in with a little secure stitch, it hides that tiny bit of ugly raw edge, Yeah! This is really gonna test the strength of this machine. So I'm working here. Can you go over there, please? Thank you. I've put in all these pins along the ditch. Gonna do a stitch in the ditch, hope for the best. I don't think it'll be as clean as the collar though. There's way too much fabric. Here's how it's looking from the outside. The cuffs can close, that's good. It's puffy and it's smooth in the front with the folds in the back. And I caught everything in the stitch in the ditch. That feels so good because it looks so clean from the outside. I'm gonna trim and hem the bottom, something nice and simple compared to everything so far. And I want to cut a belt. If you're sewing along and you quit here, I wouldn't blame you, but I've signed up for some unfinished business button shopping. Here we go.
Sound foolish, but sometimes I wish someone could tuck me in and turn out the lights. Tell me that I'm doing just fine. 나의 어릴 적 모습이 생각나. 밤마다 기도해주던 우리 엄마. 이제는 다 큰 어른이 되었지만 아직 위로가 필요해 나.
Pretty much as soon as I put on the jacket, I realized that I would love to add pockets. I also need to add belt loops, one on each side to hold in the belt. But I think I'm just gonna celebrate with the way it is now and then add those things as I get sure of the placement of them all. Don't forget to check out Thredup with the link in the description. Use my code Wendy30 if you want to get 30% off your first order. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you all enjoy a wonderful cozy season. Bye-bye!